Hello and welcome at the Workplace Ninja Connect podcast episodes. Now we are recording live here in Gorkum at Van der Valk, where we have our event, whole day event. But together with the event, we are recording some interviews, nice conversations. My name is Frans Oudendorp and I'm hosting this session together with my co-host, Peter.
Yep, Peter Daalmans.
Welcome, and let's see if we can have some interesting questions for our guests. And who do we have on the table?
Yeah, we
Peter?
have two guests from up north.
That's correct.
Mattias and Nicklas. So Mattias Melkersen and Nicklas Ahlberg. Welcome.
Thank you.
Thanks for joining us.
Of course.
Thank you very much.
And it's not as wide as it is in your area, right? Or is it also gray and rainy and chilly?
Grey winter.
Yeah,
That's the name of the game in the south parts of Sweden, at least. You need to go pretty much high up north to even see snow nowadays.
Yeah, and Nicklas and I, we live pretty close to each other, even though we live in two different countries. It's
That's just a bridge, right?
It's just a bridge, and it's the same weather as we have here.
Yeah.
It's gray, but it's okay.
Denmark and Sweden, so yeah.
Yeah.
So let's see if we have some topics to cover. I used some Copilot stuff, and they came up with some nice questions. But before dive into that, you both are delivering a session. What is the most important thing for you? A question for you both. What's the most important thing to deliver these kind of sessions on an event like this? Mattias, start with you.
I can start on that. So my goal when I deliver a session on a summit like this is that I think I have some experience I want to share with others. We hear a lot that Microsoft want to push us towards cloud native. So that's something I do every day with my customers. And I've tried a lot of things in my career, and I'm trying to simplify stuff, not do it more complex than it needs to do. So my goal here today is to give you and the attendees some ways to think when you want to migrate from what you have today to a cloud-native world, and what waits for you on the other end, because there might be some gold you can find there.
And how is that for you, Nicklas?
Yeah. I would like to echo Mattias on that one, on most of it, but definitely to make sure that everyone in the room has something to bring back home, some kind of gotcha, some key takeaway to actually start working with or implementing whatever session and topic I'm doing currently. So always try to find those gotchas, and that comes from experience and actually doing the thing you're trying to show on stage in your session. So my sessions is always going to be about what I'm actually working with currently. What's new and what's going on out there, because I'm working with a lot of customers. Things seems to be trendy at the different times, right? So just try to create some key takeaway on the current trends, I guess.
Cool. So Mattias, since you are covering cloud native, and you said Microsoft is pushing us towards cloud native, but what are the key business drivers for organizations to go cloud native? Because we can do what Microsoft wants us to do, but it also needs to companies need to be better, become better of it.
Makes sense. And that's basically the key question here. Are we doing IT just for the IT sake? Or are we having a business that has several needs, selling products, making the world better for everyone? What is the purpose of this company? So IT is just that's just inevitable. You need to have IT to carry out your work these days, and for a long time we've had a lot on-prem systems, and the world is changing very fast, and so are all the competencies we all have. So it's one thing is to follow the trend, because otherwise you will find yourself in a way where you would have IT stuff that is requiring specialists all the time, and that's going to be very expensive. Once you need to buy consultants that is highly experienced in on-prem technology that no one's is interested in anymore. So that is one of the key points. The other is that, well, there are benefits of going to cloud native as you want to be more agile and more dynamic in your way of working. So we're not going to a workplace to do our work anymore. We sit at home, we sit at the vacation, we sit in weekends, we are at the gym with the kids, and then we do some work. So we need to do we need to be able to do our work in every kind of situation, and that is what is driving this new initiative in cloud native world.
Yeah, definitely. And Nicklas, for you, you're doing a session about securing Windows 365. That's purely cloud. You are going to talk about just enough access, just-in-time access, permissions. What common mistakes do you see at customers happening?
So the mistake starts at day 0, I would say. So when working with customers, I always receive the Intune admin role while just working with Windows 365. And to me, that's basically giving me global admin, but for Intune, right? Because you could do anything with that role within Intune. You could break a lot of devices if you don't know what you're doing, or if you actually want to do some bad stuff, right? So we always need to be able to, me as a consultant, I need to be aware of exactly what I need in terms of do my work. So it always starts with me, right?
Yeah.
While working with a customer. And I think like that a lot of customers need to be aware as well. So right now it's actually really trendy within Sweden to look at scope permissions, custom Intune RBAC roles and all that stuff. So just by minimizing the impact just in case something actually will happen within the organization. You never know.
And then combine it with access groups and then
conditional access, administrative units, restricted administrative units, even for some bits of it. PIM and whatnot. And that's a lot of bits and bytes from a lot of different both Entra and Intune security features. But we need to combine them to actually get the full picture and full worth out of it.
And Mattias, you're talking about in a session here on modern management, transition to modern management. Nicklas on Windows 365. Is there an overlap, not in session, but in technology that you're using? And so can you use the best practices that Nicklas is presenting and vice versa, so to say?
Yeah, definitely. I would say Windows 365 can be used for many things, and RBAC is one of the key pillars to enter a new chapter of anything. So that's kind of the bottom of everything. You need to make sure that you have that in place. So before you can actually utilize any of these technologies, you need to have migrated some of your on-prem stuff like GPOs and stuff. So if you don't have that, you don't have any configurations to apply on your Windows 365. So yes, that is very much not overlapping, but collaborating.
Yeah.
But don't migrate GPOs, right?
No.
As I said, it starts at day 0, right?
Yeah.
So if you're actually doing that, then reconsider, I would say so.
Yeah, exactly. Just rethink your environment, redesign. And
take the opportunity to redo some things.
So another question for you, Mattias. What are the most common misconceptions about moving to cloud native? It's not a lift and shift. It's more than that, right?
Well, definitely, many would like to lift and shift. I see that most commonly mistake on infrastructure and on service, not so much on modern workplace, actually, because you, funny enough, need to enroll your device to Intune, so you need to do some different things there. And then all of a sudden you'll also understand that GPO and the new CSP structure in Intune that doesn't understand each other. So you'll need to have a clear path how we are going there. So you get that by you ask experts and go to summits like this to have an idea what it takes to do this the right way, because there are right ways, there are very expensive ways, and then there is the right path where you go straight to what the end goal for your company is, because it can be different from company to company. Because some of the pharmacy that I work for example, has very, very old hardware that needs to run, and the software has been costing like billions of kroner. And you don't swap that just because you want to be in the cloud. You need to work with that and then segregate that away and not sacrifice the 90% for the 10%.
Oh, exactly, yeah. Nicklas, so what are the key differences when you manage a Windows 365 cloud PC in contrast to, for instance, a Windows laptop or a desktop in your on-premises environment?
Well, there are definitely some differences, because the images that we receive out of the box from Windows 365 does actually have some implemented and pre-configured settings that we need to be aware of. So while we are working with a physical device such as a laptop, you will always have like, it's a next finish kind of deal, right? Our OEMs will do that for us, and then we will provision it through Intune with Autopilot, and we will be up and running, and with our configuration, of course. But if you try to push the same kind of settings to all devices and include Windows 365 into that, you will actually have conflicts for settings such as edge settings and stuff like that we actually need to be aware of. Unless you're doing custom image, of course, which is probably the best way to do it. But for convenience reasons and purposes, I see a lot of customers doing, the built-in kind of deal in terms of images. So that's the first one. And of course, it's a virtual device, so all the security features won't work. You're not
like BitLocker.
BitLocker is one of them. So that's one thing to consider as well. So you definitely need to figure that one out, whether we can push a specific security feature and what's actually going to happen with our Windows 365 cloud PC, because it's virtual, and of course it's being encrypted on a different level over at Microsoft,
exactly.
Right? So it's not like it's unencrypted, but just used differently.
Yeah, it's encrypted in the data center.
Right. Yeah.
So, but you mentioned you would love to use custom images.
Right.
A lot of my customers are also using the gallery image, which is optimized.
Yeah.
Why would you use a custom image instead of the optimized Microsoft image?
Because you never know what's built into it. It's not really well documented, in my opinion. Mm-hmm. There are stuff that we are not aware of. So depending on your security level of security, there could be stuff that would actually happen from month to month, and we always want to be in control of that, right? Okay, so that's one of them. And also, I have personally had some issues with the gallery images, because some settings that were optimized for Teams were definitely not Intune optimized, to say the least. Okay. So there's some stuff that could break the enrollment and stuff like that as well that we have experienced. But I mean, if it's just for for specific purpose and security isn't the of top priority, then gallery image will do it for you, definitely. But still, a custom image is just the correct way to actually be in control of what happens and what doesn't happen.
And what scenarios are you using Cloud PC? Is that only for as a laptop in the cloud, but also for privileged access, workstation, SOEs, or whatsoever?
Yes,
that's a discussion. That's a discussion that we yesterday evening. So
I
I'm
know,
really
right?
interested in
Yes.
that.
So you got me cornered right now, right?
Oh no.
I'm just kidding. Windows 365 is not like a paw. A paw needs to be physical, in my opinion. But it could still be pretty secure, depending on what you actually need it for. But it's not a paw. You need a physical device to actually do privileged access workstation. But I would say that the best and most used business case is for external users. External users, contractors, consultants, any kind of external user that you could imagine that is, need a device within your organization. Maybe because you're using compliance policy to require a device to be compliant, and they just need something to achieve that goal. Windows 365 would definitely do that for you, and it's just a good way to actually start working in a more secure way with a customer or external part.
Yeah, but on the other hand, if an organization starts with securing a Windows 365, use that for the admin purposes in its tenant, that it's more secure than doing nothing.
Yes,
and I totally agree. That was the discussion that we had yesterday evening. I think Windows 365 is not a privileged access workstation. I think everyone agrees on that. Yeah. But making the first steps on that with Windows 365 can really help. Yeah, and I think everyone agrees on that.
Yeah, it's a good place to start things off with. Yeah, and then maybe look towards a physical one. But definitely much better than doing nothing. Yeah, that's exactly absolutely.
The best security you have is the security you have, not that you don't have. So start somewhere.
Yeah, true. So Mattias, what are, in your opinion, the features of Microsoft Intune which are completely underutilized, which organizations can take advantage of right now if they start their journey?
Oh, that's a hard one,
native.
Peter. Yeah,
it's early in the morning, so
and I also have to be careful what I answer because clearly I have a lot of experience with the product called Config Manager that was there and still there for many years. It's the Swiss knife of managing devices, and if you've used it, you're like. Intune would be a lightweight management system compared to that. So in the light of the management system, so coming back to your question, one thing that when I prepare my customers for Intune, that would normally be from Config Manager. So it could be in a state of co-management, and the instant value you get is that you have possibility to wipe your device. So that gives you the instant of some cybersecurity measure. I would say precautions. So if you get a device stolen, you lost your device, something like that, you can wipe it. Next time it reach internet in some way, it's gonna wipe itself. Of course, WinRE needs to work on the device, otherwise it's not gonna help. Yep. But you have a possibility to brick the device, and that's a really good feature in that scenario. And you don't have any of those kind of features with Config Manager. So I would say that's the top one that I use when we say we want to go Intune. The instant value of you can react on something you lost, because we don't want to lose data, right? That's the main goal here. It's not managing from the cloud. We just want to ensure that our data is safe.
I remember back in the days we had third-party tooling for that, and it was horrible. But this is just a small feature, but it's with a lot of impact.
It does, yeah.
So, if you look at your sessions, which you're going to deliver in a couple of hours, what would be the main takeaway for the attendees today? What would be the main takeaway?
For me, I would say that it's actually not that hard. It sounds hard when you talk about it, scoping privileges and working in a secure way, but it definitely doesn't need to be that hard to get going, get started, and actually keep using it. Because sometimes when we start using and implementing security stuff, it's pretty hard and it breaks productivity, and all that stuff. But then in this case, I will show a scenario and how to actually make it easier for ourselves as Intune admins or Windows 365 admins.
And don't configure the time by default for 1 hour, that you're Intune admin for 1 hour and that you need to request it again. And that's horrible.
I know, right?
Just find a way, good way.
Yes. A good and secure way that works for most people. That would be the key takeaway, I guess.
Yeah.
For you?
My takeaway today would be that wherever you are on the journey, you need to bite the elephant into smaller bits, because otherwise you're gonna give up. It's not a sprint going to cloud native; it's a marathon. So you need stamina to go there, and you need a firm plan, and you need management to accept that it will cost money. You need to invest to earn. And that is going to be my main focus today, and give the attendees a view into automation and pipelines. DevOps is a fantastic tool if you do not have config manager and task sequence. Pipelines, oh yeah, that's lovely. So key takeaway is automation. Bite the elephant in chunks and you will get there.
Cool.
Regarding Windows 365, Nicklas, a lot of learnings for RBAC, for access and permissions and so on. These learnings that you have done, especially for Windows 365, can they be can that be applied even not on Windows 365, but in the broader IT area?
Yeah, absolutely. We always need to think least privilege at some point. So it doesn't matter whether it's a cloud account, cloud admin account, or a hybrid account, which I will cover also in my session. Should never have never sync your on-premise admin accounts to the cloud. So we definitely will span over onto what's actually going on there, because not very few customers of mine are actually 100% cloud native. Yep. So definitely we need to bring that into consideration as well. And of course it will span the Windows 365 scenario is for me just a really clear scenario in terms of creating those scoped roles and scope tags and for devices, because they have virtual versus physical. It's pretty clear to take into consideration. But you could actually do this for even if you're not using Windows 365, but you have different site admins. You can have scope permissions. So site 1 help desk first to third line will only have and see a couple of policies that they are allowed to see within the Intune portal, and then they can only do stuff with their local devices. Yep. So definitely the same learnings could be applied even if you're not even using Windows 365. Yeah.
And Mattias, how do you see the future of cloud native device management evolving in the next few years? You're already mentioning that it's a marathon moving into cloud native. But what on the next few years? What's on the vision?
Yeah, what is on the vision? That's a really good question. At the moment, a lot of features is not coming out from Microsoft because they are doing some internal initiatives on security. And I think it's been good for everyone because basically they've spit out features every month, and it's really a struggle to keep up. There is a OS that needs to be served and serviced, so that's what you need to keep up with. It's never went so fast as it does today, but it never went so slow as it does today, right? So you need to, when you get on the train, to stay on the train, and you need to put in some new processes in your organization to cover that, because it's going a high-speed train. So whatever comes out of features like AI, which is a massive push at the moment, you have to figure out if your tooling is able to then manage that. And I can just say, for a boring part, when you enable M365 Copilot, you should have some governance in place there. And most companies, they don't care. The director or the CEO wants AI here and now. The organization is not ready for that. So you should, over the next couple of years, consolidate your company to make sure you're ready with all the initiatives that you already put into your business. That would be my recommendation.
Nice.
Yeah.
Do we have other questions, Peter?
I have hundreds of questions. But if they are all applicable, I don't know.
No, but I think it's valuable to see what kind of sessions you guys are delivering to help people moving forward, even here in the Netherlands on this event, and probably in the next few months on other events as well. I think the year is sure. It's
just started.
It's just started, and I think a lot of things, a lot of events are coming up. Mattias is help organizing the MEM Summit in Paris. Nicklas as well.
Yep.
So I think that's a nice event. The Workplace Ninja Summit is coming up in September. Call for sessions is just open. For the MEM Summit is just closed, I guess.
That's correct.
And so probably a lot of sessions are coming up there as well. So really look forward to see each other on these kind of events again. So thanks for joining this morning.
Thank you for having
Good luck
us.
with your sessions.
Thank you. Thanks for having us.
And,
You're welcome.
And thanks for listening to this episode. If you want to know more what happens on the Workplace Ninja Netherlands Connect, that's it. Need to keep that in mind. If you don't want to know more what's happened on this event today and the recordings that will follow, like and subscribe our YouTube channel and our podcast. Give us a review of whatever, so we can learn from you to see what we can do better or otherwise. So thanks for joining. I say until next time.